All right, good deal. So this way I can kind of show it to everybody else that wasn't able to make it. But for thanks for being on with us. Obviously, me and Craig kind of slid in here last year around November 2022, and maybe a lot of you know us or don't know us or have gotten to know us over the last couple of months. But I'm Jason Clark. I've been in the mortgage business for a little over 20 years. I'm a co-branch manager with Craig at United Realty. It was something that was kind of a quick little dating scene between me and Craig, and then we got married, and then we jumped into this office and we like it. We like the people here. I had a relationship here already with some of the agents, and it's been good so far, And so what we kind of wanted to do is just kind of elaborate on what we want to bring to the office, what our backgrounds are, and what what you can expect from us over here. Okay. So like I said, I've been in the business for a little over 20 years, doing mortgages specifically. I'm a licensed real estate broker. I've been active agent for about 7 years. I don't do a lot of real estate business. It's primarily for buying realtor.com leads and things like that, because you have to be an agent. And I'm a self-employed expert, right? So I do a lot of individuals that have issues with income, self-employed, coaching them up, getting them ready for FHA deals, conventional deals. And if they can't qualify for that, you have investor programs, 24-month bank statement programs, get people ready for those so they can buy a house, townhouse, investment property, and kind of help out my agents in that regard, So the agents that I've worked with over the past years, I've been able to help them close more deals just by building up that trust and relationship so that they can count on me, in the end. I'm kind of like the insurance policy. Okay. So, that's who I am. Obviously, Craig, I'd love for you to introduce yourself. Very interesting individual, man.
Hello, thanks, Jason. So
Yes,
I'm Craig Martinez, and definitely appreciate you guys hopping on to this meeting this morning. And I know that the majority of you will see it by video. I also invited some non-United Realty agents to join that have license that may consider joining us here at United over here in Cooper City. So super excited about that. Same like Jason, that we, the story about me and Jason meeting, it feels like it was just a couple of weeks ago. It was probably just a couple of months ago. And, David Chambliss, who, we've both known for some time, brought us together. We both are doing different things. I was a mortgage broker back when they were brokers, before the crash in 2004, 5, 6. So I have some experience with the mortgage business as well. And in terms of like structuring deals and putting deals together, so I have a lot of experience there. But mostly what I've been doing over the last 10 years is real estate investment properties, a lot of fix and flip, renovation, construction jobs, and a lot of wholesale flipping of contracts, assignment of contracts, rent and hold properties, a lot of training on rental cash flow, net operating income, cash on cash return, a lot of focus on investment income properties and investment flip deals, flip properties, as well as some commercial deals, as industrial warehouse deals. Did some flips there, did some rent and holds on some of the commercial warehouse deals, Airbnb as well. We currently have 3 properties that are slated for Airbnb, but we're actually going to probably start to go in a different direction as that Airbnb business is a little bit saturated, especially by the beach. But these are some of the things that I have a lot of experience in. My wife as well, who's a partner on the Airbnb side, has a lot of experience. She's also a broker as well, and she's here with us at United Realty Group here in the Cooper City office. So just really excited to work with you guys with our experience, with myself and Jason. We're really excited to working with all the agents and seeing what we can do to help them to increase and add to their business.
Yeah, definitely. All right, good deal. So that being said, it's been a little bit of a different role for myself. I went from a small office with maybe 20 agents to this big, beautiful office that we have over here. Obviously, the owners have
You and Zach.
set up a brand for these particular offices, and there's over 245 agents. Now, obviously, all these agents don't do as much work as as we'd like for them to do, because there's a lot of part-time agents, but there is a good group of you that do a lot of business, And so, what I wanted to kind of share with you guys is what we want to bring to the office, and that's going to be something that might be a little different from what you've had in the past, but we definitely are going to bring in the monthly in-person meetings. I know that's a big deal nowadays since COVID's over with. Get belly to belly with everybody, have guest speakers, like insurance agents, attorneys, lenders like myself, hard money lenders, investment wholesalers like Craig and his team, to kind of elaborate and share with you their expertise, and to sponsor some of the events. We'll probably be holding those every Wednesday in the morning. So that'll be something new that we're going to start up possibly at the end of this month, but definitely for February, we're going to gear up for that. We definitely are going to be sending out, monthly and weekly updates in the market. At least I know that I'll be doing that, sharing with you programs that are out there that we can help people get qualified on for national programs, investment programs. I know Craig has a number of different lenders that he deals with. So it's nice to brainstorm with somebody that's very knowledgeable in the industry, because sometimes as independent contractors and realtors, we feel like, we're on an island by ourselves and we're a little lonely, and we need that kind of camaraderie and vibe and synergy with other people, because at the end of the day, we don't know everything, and so we need to, learn and share from each other. And I think that's important. But I definitely will be sending out text blast, so try not to unsubscribe or stop. If I'm annoying, just let me know, but it's not going to be overwhelming. But I definitely want to keep my realtors, I'm kind of using what I did with my original crew and bringing it over here to a bigger, platform, and just showing you guys what I do and how I can help. But I want to keep you up to date on programs, rates, what's going on in the market, because at the end of the day, we all just want to close more deals, and if I can help you close 1 or 2 more deals a year, that's going to help you, feed your family and pay some bills and get things done. That's important. Also want to make sure that, that we're able to share with you how to work your database, and CRM and some of those techniques. I really like to get to a position where we're doing some unbranded marketing. I think that's something that a lot of agents lack, is just sharing stuff, even including myself. It takes time to post stuff online. Craig's does awesome with that, social media. I know Ceci's great with that. But getting over that hurdle of, hey, look, this is how I look on camera, and my pictures, and sending out some unbranded marketing materials. That's something I like to share with my agents, so that this way you can just grab it, put it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and be able to, get in front of somebody with some, more, good advice, educate them, and bring value to your database and to your audience, because the reality is, you can't sell them everything. They need to be educated, and there needs to be some type of value there. We also want to bring in like an agent spotlight. And so this is something that I think is going to be really interesting, is where, myself and Craig, we can interview an agent, or it might be just myself. It might be anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes on social media, doing a Zoom, talking about what you do, where you're from, giving a little bit of a background on you, so that this way you can put it online, share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook. But it's something to kind of get you over the hurdle. And if you're doing it with me, we're getting over the hurdle together as far as getting on social media. But I'd like to know who I'm dealing with as well. There's some great performers in this office. I mean, we have Jose Perez in this office. He's top 5 in the entire company. He sold a lot of units last year, and had a very high volume. So he's a professional that's right in your backyard. So he's somebody you'd like to kind of pick their brain and see a short, maybe 3 or 5 minute clip from, and there's others that like him as well. And some of the fun stuff we want to bring in is like an agent appreciation day. We've been brainstorming a few things, but we were thinking about a car wash Wednesday. having the first 5 or 7 or 10 agents who get here, because I know that you guys will roll out of bed a little late and get your day started a little later, but we'd like to appreciate and show appreciation for what you guys do, as far as that's concerned. And if you get here, you get your car washed, you have a nice clean car, you're going on a showing or a listing or bringing a buyer around, at least, have a nice set of wheels. So we'll have to, we'll figure out when that's going to start, but that's something I think that'll be interesting. Obviously, happy hours, with our team, small happy hours, and for those of you that don't drink, you can always have a cup of coffee, or cafecito. But, small events like that, to kind of pull us all together as a team, as a unit, as a family, I think is important, because at the end of the day, we're all here trying to help each other out, even though we're competitors, so that's just kind of how it goes. If you're on the same team, you're all fighting for the same position, but you'll have your first, second string and stuff like that, but we're all still part of the family. And when somebody gets knocked down, we got to be able to kind of lift you guys up and be able to, bring you back to reality in some cases. So those are some of the things you can expect from Craig and I, as far as a team is concerned, that we'll be collaborating on. And the monthly meetings, I think, are going to be important. Obviously, we'll have some more Zooms, but having guest speakers, including Craig, myself, Craig's team, and some of the people that Craig does know in the industry, coming in here, talking to you guys, educating you, and giving you some tips and ideas on how to run your business more effectively, I think is going to be important. Okay. As far as like tips and strategies, that's a whole nother subject that we're going to be diving into, but some of the things, Craig, that I kind of wanted you to touch on. I know that you're a master at closing, and sharing some of those techniques with our agents is going to be super important, because obviously they're going to want to, get an edge on the psychology of selling the deal to a new listing, for a new listing, or getting a buyer, out of bed to go ahead and get out of their rental and purchase a property. And so I know they have some of those items. Would you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Jason. So some of the things that we spoke about, I know, Jason, that we thought to collectively that were like a strategic areas to focus on, is first being, sharing obviously our closing techniques, overcoming objections, things that we're finding that are successful that we can share, and things that some of our top guys can also share with the team in regards to closing listings, getting new listings, pushing these buyers to get to the next level, to push them to the next step, converting from a rental client into a purchase client, where you can get involved from the mortgage perspective and get those, get more pre-quals on your desk and create more closings that way. Some of the other things that we plan to talk about over these, I guess, coming weeks and the next few months, is the systems that we're using, CRM, skip trace tools, how we're finding different sellers, how we're able to, trace these different sellers, especially like in these distress situations where you have maybe a foreclosure list or a violation and lien list that you can work on. Maybe it's, there's probate, there's divorce list, things of that nature that you can find through public records. And how can we then, skip trace those sellers? Then, of course, like we have here, wholesale properties that are available to buy. For those that I haven't met yet, that we haven't met together, I have the ability to, I have direct deals that a majority of them are off market. And these are deals that you'll have access to, that you can, present to your buyers. Now, most of them will be investment type properties that they may need some work, or they're rental properties, but these are properties that you can present to your buyers. And if they're not cash buyers, then we can talk about hard money financing. We can talk about conventional financing through Jason. So we'll have some options there, some opportunities for some off-market deals that you'll have available to you to sell, to mark up for a commission as well. So what else? I guess we talked about the closing techniques and the overcoming the objections. So I
Right.
think also, so I think that if you have cash buyers, or maybe out of state, out of country buyers that are looking for investment properties,
Right.
We should definitely be talking. What I would say is, if you're listening and you're not already getting the email marketing list that we send out every other day, I have Zach here and Josh that are here, located here in the office in Cooper City. We're sending out marketing campaigns of these off-market properties that we either own here, or we have them under contract, so therefore we have equitable interest in the property. These, if you're not getting these emails, definitely send me or Jason just your full name, your email, and I'll get those properties. We'll get these lists sent out to you. They do come from Wholesale Florida Homes, and the subject line, or the person that it's coming from, would be WFH Direct. So those are the deals that we're sending out every other day. You should be on that list, just because you may not have an investor or a buyer looking for something today, but at some point you may have someone, and you'd want to be looking at these properties on a daily basis to see what inventory is available out there, because this is not inventory that you're going to find on MLS, or at least a good percentage of them you won't find on MLS. So it's good to have that available to you to be able to sell to your buyers. And you might have a particular buyer or an investor that's looking for a property in a certain neighborhood, and you're just waiting to find that right deal. And I've noticed, just by me being signed up with some of these wholesalers and these investors that are flipping these properties out there, just having the availability, having those lists come to your email every day, and just taking a minute or so to look through them to see what's available. A lot of times you'll find the right property in the right location for the right buyer. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a good point, because obviously with the slowdown happening last year, I think everybody was a bit worried on, obviously interest rates creeping up and prices going up. And I feel like this year, in the last week or so, I think things have picked up quite a bit. People are starting to come out of the woodworks. The bottom line is rent's not getting any cheaper. And that's something you got to drive home to a lot of first-time home buyers, or people that are in your database that don't already own a home. And that's something we'll discuss in the next, Zoom or face-to-face, where you need to work your database, weekly videos out to them, monthly newsletters, and giving them value, and then making the phone call. So you have that excuse to kind of pick their brain a little bit and confirm, what they're doing in their life. If they own their house, when did they buy it? How long ago did they buy it? And if they don't own it, how much are you paying in rent? Let's get you qualified. Seller contributions are getting popular now. So, I think that's important. We have, certain programs where there's a 2-1 buy down, you get a 7% rate, but you start off the first year at 5%. So we need to educate them on that. And I feel like probably like a lot of like the last few months were a little odd and out of the ordinary. I don't know about you, Craig, but it was kind of slow for myself. But we've been busy the last good 3-4 years, especially around the holidays, and it was okay. I can deal with it, but I don't want to deal with it in 2023. So, how was the wholesale side of it when you kind of saw that end of it at November, December? Was that kind of a little slower as well?
Yeah, I think that every year, as we get closer to the holidays, especially, you tend to see that big slowdown. So I think that mid-December, it was close to a shutdown. But we're now, so about a month later, here we are, we're in mid-January. And now what I'm seeing is that we have these sellers that are really looking to move. And I think that for all of us, regardless of whether we're, a listing or agent that's dealing with buyers, or we're just an investor, mortgage broker. I think for all of us, I think right now, big opportunities that you have sellers that are going to be looking to move their properties. And I think that if there is a good time right now to get listings, I think this is the time, this first quarter. I think while these rates, are sort of stable, and I guess that's, something
Yeah.
that I would more ask Jason that question, but it seems as though they've come up a little bit, and now they've somewhat stabilized, but they haven't been coming down. I think that a lot of these sellers that were thinking about selling at the beginning of the year, and I've seen a lot of this in the last quarter of this year, is the sellers are now saying, you know what, now's the time I need to move and make a move. So although, yes, it might be a little bit more difficult for them to go and, upgrade or move into another property because everything's still, prices really haven't come down. But, or they've come down maybe a little bit in some markets and not as much in others. I am seeing a lot of sellers that are looking to, particularly ones that are getting a little close to retiring. It seems as though they're looking to move up north to buy and a little bit in Central Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas to save to get their expenses down, cut their expenses, and save some money and get some money from the proceeds of their sale, and then decrease their expenses. But I think that that's an opportunity for us because there's more people moving into South Florida than moving out. So I think that's a good opportunity because they're coming in from New York and Texas and California. And so I think this is a really good opportunity to really, dial in on your business and focus on getting those listings is something that we're trying to do ourselves.
Kind of touch on what you're talking about, Craig. Downsizers, people that live in 2-story homes, you can set up, whether it's MLS or even on Remine in your MLS. Remine has a nice feature where you can set up looking for people that have equity in their home and maybe living there 5 to 10 years or so, age brackets. And if they're in a 2-story home, people starting to get tired of lugging themselves up the 2nd story and they want to move out. So you can set a search up, you can go in there, and then you can pull a list of their phone numbers. And, there's a way of scrubbing the phone numbers and stuff like that and call them and reach out to them to ask for a listing opportunity. And it's important when you're getting on that listing appointment, to really brush up your skills, make sure your listing presentation is bulletproof, know it from A to Z, be flexible with your commission, because obviously you're competing with a lot of other agents, and being at 100% over here, you do have the flexibility of lowering your commission to win that deal. But more importantly, you want to show value, so they're just not treating you like any other agent. So you have to be the expert in your market when it comes down to that. But more importantly is, getting your foot in the door and setting the appointment, and those are some of the things that we kind of want to help you out with as far as going over those techniques, because like Craig said, now's the time to start calling. Now's the time to start cold calling, even if it's people that you don't know, and overcoming that fear, reaching out to your referral base and stuff like that. So like you said, I'm starting to see a little bit of an uptick. I think the rates are leveling off. I feel like the market's going in a neutral market. It's not necessarily a whole full blown out, buyer's market yet, but I feel it will start getting that way once you start seeing the closed sales for December and January roll around, because it's going to be something where the appraisers are going to start using those values. Appraisers are not, nobody's really looking at August as a real value. It's a completely different market. Nobody's looking at September. You can use them, but they're not really putting weight against them. They're putting weight in December, January closed sales. So, make sure you really focus in on those sales and be honest when you're taking a listing and say, hey, listen, I can sell you a pie in the sky, but look what's going on in December. You've been listening to the news, what's going on. The rates have gone up and things have cooled off, but that's your real target there. And so you want to be setting the right expectations with your sellers when you're on a listing appointment. Okay. Good stuff, Craig. All right. So wanted to dive in a little bit. I mean, that's far as like what we're seeing in the 2023 upcoming market, kind of what Craig elaborated on is like, now's the time to go out and get your listings and to make the phone calls and be diligent about follow-up. For those of you that don't have a good CRM, I think it's vital. If you don't have a good CRM or website, I know that United Realty has a special where it's called Sales Core. It's a website and a CRM built into one. It's $45 a month. You can send emails, text messages, you can send property links, and then it's basically your little dashboard into your business. And I think that's important because when you're calling somebody or reaching out to someone, you can put a little follow-up task in there and follow up with them next week, or follow up them on a CMA that you need to send out and prepare stuff, because the gold is in the follow-up. Is that right, Craig?
That is correct.
Yeah, the gold is in the follow-up. And so I think a lot of us fall victim to not following up because, we hear no and we just close the door. But actually, no is when the sale starts. That's when you have to kind of break out the heavy artillery and dig deeper into why there's a no and find the motivation on why they're buying, okay, or why they're selling. More importantly, why they're selling. What's the motivation? Everybody, sellers want to just sell their homes and they don't want to go through all the drama. They don't want to go through the open houses, cleaning the house, cleaning the toilets, picking up their laundry, washing the dishes, because you're going to be there at 6:30 at night for a showing. It's annoying for them. So the reality is you got to sell the outcome. And the outcome is, hey, listen, I'm going to sell your home at the highest price, and I'm going to set the right expectations, so those are things that we'll be touching on as we get further into the 2023 season. Call it the season because really that's what it is. It's like a kickoff for a football season. All right, as far as my side of it's concerned, as far as the lending side of it's concerned, mortgage applications have dropped off quite a bit, and that's something you definitely want to present to your sellers if you're on a listing appointment. Obviously, you don't want to take a listing and be the highest priced in town, okay, because that's what they want. They want to take the money and run, but that was last summer. The reality is most action comes in during the first 7 to 10 days of a listing. That's where all the leverage is. If there's a listing on comes out today, you're going to have 13, 14 people seeing it, but if it sits on the market for 30 days or more, there's a problem. And then all of a sudden the seller's leverage goes out the window because they can't technically get what they want. Now they have to take a deal and settle. Now they got to get a seller credit. So you have to explain to your sellers, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to position this property to sell right away. I'm not listing it, I'm selling it, and I want to help you sell it. And the reality is, if we're on the market longer than 30 days, all of a sudden the offers drop, they get lower, and all of a sudden it looks like you have an issue with the property, and then you got to just take whatever deal you can get and cut it loose. So I think that's important to explain when you're going on a listing, what's going on in the market. Hey, listen, Mr. Seller, mortgage applications are down, rates have gone up. We need to position your house in the right way to sell quickly because we don't want it on the market too long, because after 30 days, all of a sudden it becomes an eyesore in the MLS, and then it has to start dropping like a rock. That's what I see on my end of it. However, I do see more sellers giving a seller credit, which helps out with closing costs. Obviously, if you have somebody that's pinching pennies on closing costs or cash to close, let's get a seller credit involved, help them out in that regard, buy down the rate a little bit so that they can get a little bit lower of a rate. Loan limits have gone up. FHA is up to 557 on a single family, which is crazy. I mean, on a duplex, I haven't put that out yet, but I think it's somewhere in the high 600s. I think Craig, I talked to you about that the other day, right? As far as a duplex is concerned, loan limits have gone up. That's important. Conventional loan limits are hovering around 747, I believe. So all of that stuff's gone up, and people still are renting for a lot of money, and we have to kind of get them out of that bubble. And I think you're going to start seeing those people coming out of that bubble of renting and looking for a place to live. As far as
Jason, let me add to, if you don't mind, since we're on that subject before you go on to the next one.
Sure.
You were talking about follow-up earlier, and what I'm seeing is that, and I think it's important for the agents to constantly be thinking about this. On the follow-up, I've seen in the last week, and I'm so glad you brought this up because it's so fresh in my mind. In the last week, our team here, Zach, Josh, have recently closed 3 new deals from sellers that they were talking to. One was in October and 2 were in November. And, usually in this industry, when we're talking to a seller, we're talking about, you're usually sort of closing the deal pretty quickly, right? Right away. If you have a hot lead, you're usually locking down that listing, you're getting the listing agreement signed, boom, you do your presentation, you get it listed, you do your pictures, you do your great presentation on MLS, on your remarks, and bam, it's listed. But there's sometimes these sellers aren't ready, or sometimes they tell you they changed their mind and to call them next year, or you know what, we're just we decided we're not going to move. There's these millions and millions of excuses that the client's going to give you, and sometimes it's true. Sometimes they're just not ready. Sometimes they're not sold on the sales pitch. They're not sold on what you're telling them. Maybe the confidence isn't there, or sometimes they just need to be followed up a second, third, fourth time. And what I'm seeing is that just in the last week, from aggressive follow-up, we picked up these 3 new deals that we've been working. There's a long list of, when I look in our CRM, that's why it's so important to have your CRM. When I look at the follow-up phone calls that were made, the consistent phone calls, the emails, the follow-up, I can see that it took sometimes it takes 6, 7, 8 follow-ups to lock down a committed seller. So what I would say to, to add to what Jason is selling is stay consistent, stay on that follow-up, because that follow-up is gold. And these are really good deals that we're getting closed. And, I think one of them is going to be a listing and 2 of them are getting under contract. But I think it's so important that if collectively as a team, if all 300 of our agents here in Cooper City are following up consistently and aggressively, your results are going to be there in 2023. I think that this is the year, and I know we've been saying this. I really do think that 2023 is going to be a year for the agents that maintain and sustain aggression in their follow-up, number 1, and number 2, exceed expectations. Because and when I think about exceeding expectations as an agent, and I really hope you're hearing me when I say this, because a lot of the business that we're picking up here in this office, and a lot of it, what I'm saying to you is I'm talking about closing sellers to give me the contract or to give us the listing, since we work both ways. A lot of times the reason why we're getting that business is because of the poor service they got from their listing agent the prior 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And a lot of times what I'm seeing is that the listing is written poorly. You're not, the agents aren't on the remarks. They're not really selling the property. They're not putting I come from a sales background. We always talk, I used to sell cars, and my sales manager would always tell me features, advantages, and benefits. What are the features, advantages, and benefits of buying this car today? Or what are the features, advantages, and benefits of buying this property in this location at this time for this price? So to really exceed expectations on how you're presenting their property in the way that you're selling it, where you're informed and you're putting a lot of good information in the remarks on that listing to potentially get that new buyer excited, and the presentation of the pictures. Because a lot of times we're seeing these listings and we're seeing these pictures of, like, they're pictures that are just the
iPhone
the
picture.
vertical, the
Yeah.
iPhone vertical blurry pictures, and there's like 5 pictures. But when we're putting up a listing, and you're glad to see we're putting up 30, 40, 50, 60, and we're spending the $199 to get professional pictures done. We're coaching the seller on how to properly, ready up the not so much stage it, but like do your bed, do the pillows, make it declutter it and make it look nice, and create some excitement even in the pictures. So that way, when you have an opportunity to really exceed the norm of what you're seeing. Because I'm surprised that in this day and age, we're still seeing listings out there that are just looking very unprofessionally, and there's nothing in the remarks that are selling. Like if your property is in East Hollywood, well, it's by downtown Hollywood, it's by the Hard Rock Cafe, it's only 3 minutes from the beach. Just creating the extra. Because I'm just still surprised to see even seasoned agents at other companies that have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, and they're putting very little effort into the listing. So I really do believe that this can be a great year, but I do think that we need to think about a higher end of service to your client, and think about what can I do to exceed their expectations, and be relentless on the follow-up. Because I do think that we may go through some tougher times, depending on what happens with the rates and things, but then what are we going to do to counteract that? And I think the follow-up
Right.
will accomplish that for you.
You're 100% right there, Craig. I see the same. And you know, you have the right facility. Like, this office is beautiful. It's one of the most elegant offices I've seen out of the United Realty Group family. So you already have that. When you bring your clients here for closing or or a consultation, or even to meet you and meet us, like, you're showcasing one of the nicest offices out here in West Broward. I can guarantee that. I've been in a number of offices. So that's already, you already got that heads up on a lot of the competition that's out there. So keep that in mind. Obviously, when you say relentless on follow-up and stuff like that, yes, you're 100% right, but we need to help you put a plan in place. You know, there has to be a dedicated time to prospect, and that's what it's all about. It's prospecting anywhere from an hour to 2 hours a day, in the morning or in the afternoon. But if you're getting your prospecting done, I can guarantee you, you know, you're going to get your listings, you're going to get your buyers, you're going to get your numbers. And at the end of the day, it's all about numbers. It's all about numbers, right, Craig? When you're looking at things like that, it's basically continuing to push how many people you can talk to in a day. And if they reject you, that's fine, you know, and if they hang up on you or curse you or whatever the case is, more than likely, you know, that happens, but that's fine too. So you just need to overcome that and build up some little tough skin and get back out there, because I tell you what, there's other teams out there that are doing it, you know, and quite frankly, being on a team is important, I think, in this business. You know, if there is a way to develop a team or get on a team, share commissions so you guys can buy leads, use things like Vulcan 7, Red X, things of that nature that can find expireds for you or find for sale by owners, because the for sale by owners are going to have a hard time selling their homes this year, because quite frankly, it's not like it was where you could just put your sign out there and you have 20 people and then there's you know, you're getting $20,000 over list price. So now those for sale by owners are going to need some help as far as marketing it and getting a quality education from a good realtor on what to expect, you know, and kind of guiding them through the process. You know, for sale by owners are going to get frustrated after a while, because I'm sure they're fielding phone call after phone call from realtors and not any buyers, you know. So the reality is, building a plan, getting a good morning routine. I know myself, I'm up early, take the kids to school, you get a workout in, you get to work, and you build up that morning routine. Craig's probably doing the same thing, because having a good morning will end up giving you a good day, which will end up giving you a good week and so forth, you know, a good month and things of that nature. So building up, and it might be boring, just a nice boring routine, but the reality is, you know, that's what a lot of the top producers do. You know, they have their morning routine, they come in, they do their prospecting in the morning, and then they follow up in the day, and then they're out showing in the afternoon or in the evening, you know, and that's the reality of it. So you have to get your schedule down pat in order to really expand on getting more business in. Okay. All right. So what I also wanted just to touch base on is, you know, working your database. I'm a big, you know, database miner. I've learned that years and years ago, how to kind of situate my database, you know, downloading things from my Gmail, downloading from my iPhone, combined everything, clean it all up on an Excel spreadsheet, then upload it to your CRM and start to use that as your hub, you know, to send out emails, text messages, and use for follow-up. I don't know if a lot of you have done that, but that's something that we're definitely going to teach you how to do, because there's gold in your database. There's $1 million in your phone, and you just need to tap into it and take a little bit of that extra time to put it onto the Excel spreadsheet, figure out who's who in your database, make the phone calls, let them know that, you know, hey, I got a new CRM and I'm updating it. Would you mind giving me your birth date? What's your Facebook handle? Get their Facebook handle so you can be their friends on Facebook. And then you ask them the questions. Have you bought a home yet? Do you own a home? You know, a lot of them are your friends and family and stuff like that are on there. So you have an idea of what's going on, but dig a little deeper, you know, and ask those questions. And I'm sure we can help you out with scripts that can help you, you know, mine that database so you can figure out who's who and put that in the notes, and then follow up, so that this way you're constantly following up with them. You know, if you find a renter in your database, obviously you want to let them know, hey, listen, let's get you pre-approved. You know, if they say their credit's horrible, listen, I have somebody that can help you rescore your credit. I can help rescore credit. we do a good job of that kind of stuff to get them cleaned up so they can get back out into the market, and you can create a pipeline of those people that are getting their credit cleaned up. Okay. I gotta admit somebody there, Juliana. All right, so the other thing is, I already touched on this, but like I said, for $45 a month, you know, URG has a special for a website and a CRM, and it's really good. I don't know what everyone else is using out there, but I got it. I have a couple different CRMs, but I bought into it just to kind of get an idea of it, and it's good. It's got IDX pumped into it. You can text listings out of it. And I think for $45 a month, you've got to invest in yourself, you know, whether it's a coach, whether it's CRM, YouTube channels, you know, things of that nature. You have to invest in yourself to get the most out of yourself, because we're our own worst enemies, you know, the man in the mirror syndrome. Okay. All right, just to kind of wrap it up, because I'm sorry if people got in here late, but we did record it. All right, so I'll be sending out the recording on this, and we'll hold these every month. We'll do the belly to bellies. We'll have functions here as well. But just to wrap it up a little bit, our in-house services, obviously, you know, you're part of the URG family for a reason. You could have been anywhere that you wanted to, but there's a reason why you're here. Number one is probably because of the commission. 100% commission is great, but 100% commission of no sales is still zero money. You know, so at the end of the day, like, the reality is, creating a small team or getting onto a small team within the URG family is important. You know, you could talk to me about that. I think that's an interesting prospect that we can do. South Florida Title Services, you all know Julie here. Everyone loves working with her. She's a great title agent. I've had awful title agents where my customers actually have said, please don't ever send me to that lady again. She was horrible. And you don't want your closing experience, as rocky as it may get, or as perfect as it is, to be horrible at the end. So obviously we want to be able to have our agents use South Florida Title. If you're not using South Florida Title already, try it. If you like it, do it again. And if you like it, continue to use us. $585 closing fee. There's no junk fees. Obviously, you have a beautiful closing facility. We have mobile closers that'll go out to wherever you need for them to go. They can even do the online closings, the RON closings, RON, remote online closings. So please give them a chance. They're great at what they do. That's also a way that, you know, we can all contribute into the URG family over here. Secondly, in-house lending. Obviously, I'm certified home loans. I've been in the mortgage business a little over 20 years. And I'm sure everybody can hear the car outside that's revving up out there, because people who are in the office are probably like, what's going on? But obviously, reach out to me for any questions, even if you're using another lender, even if you're using a brother that's a lender. I know Aldo's got a brother that's a lender. That's great. They're in the family, or even another certified home lender that's in another office. If you got questions, let me try to help you out with them. If you got, hopefully I have answers for you. If we work well together, which I think we will, then give me another shot. You know, mortgage business is a tough business. You know, it's not easy, but if I can help you close out a few tougher deals, then obviously I want to add revenue to, you know, your income at the end of the year. Thirdly, if you know of any other agents that you like working with, or family members that are agents, bring them on the team, you know, solicit them and tell them, hey, listen, I think you'd be a good fit for United Realty. We're always recruiting. We're always looking for good agents. And if you feel like, you know, you want to be able to, you know, maybe build a team and maybe get another agent from another office, let us know. You know, we would love to solicit that agent, bring them on board. Obviously, you know, the reality is, you know, the big sell is 100%, but when they see the office and they talk to me and Craig and they see what kind of a different aspect we bring to our office, you know, we want to be able to close the deal, but we're always recruiting. So if you have friends, family, or other agents that you like, let us know you know, give us their info, their contact info. Obviously we want agents that are doing business. You know, it's hard for us to bring in new agents that haven't done any work because they don't know how to, you know, work around the MLS and things of that nature. They might be better suited for a bigger company where they can get the training. But when you're an experienced agent and you more or less have closed 7 deals in the last 12 months, bring them over to our side. We'll work with you on them and kind of help you build out your team, and, you know, take you out for lunch or dinner or something like that as appreciation for sending us the business. So that being said, Craig, do you got anything that you want to chime in on before we get off here?
No, I think we're good unless there's maybe someone has some questions. If there's any questions there, if not, I'm good.
I don't know. I don't see any questions. I think
Yeah, I
everyone.
didn't see anything.
Well, I see from Priscilla. What CRM is it? Okay, so it's called Salesforce. I'm sorry, Sales Core. All right. I'll send you an email out on that. Let me just jot down. I'll send you an email. I'll send a blast email out on it, but it's called Sales Core. I'll put it in the chat real quick. Hold on. And then the guy's really good. He'll help you set it all up and everything. Sales Core. And quite frankly, what I'll do is I'll have him come in on a Zoom because he's in Texas or Tampa, but I can have him come on in a Zoom and show you the website, show you how it works, show you behind the scenes, the CRM, and then this way you can sign up with him directly. But I'll definitely get that information. But I think that was the only question I had was from Priscilla. So anyone else have any questions? We're good, Craig?
I'm good.
Yeah, thumbs up.
This
Everyone's
is
got a
Patty
thumbs up?
Barney.
Hi,
Hey,
Patty.
Tricia.
I have a comment. I just want to follow up on what Craig said. My
Yeah, we can hear you.
internet's unstable, so I don't know if you can hear me. I had a listing. I had this listing for well over a year. My client was so difficult. She was really priced out of the market. Long story short, I had back in the fall, I had a decent offer for her that she refused. She insisted she needed to have $1.2 million in her pocket. I went back to her a couple of weeks ago and I said, listen, the market has softened a bit, rates are up. You really should consider this offer. I can get in contact with the buyer and see what we can do. She went from $1.2 million to $1.065 million and we're under contract. So persistence does work. It really does,
That's
so
right.
just,
Awesome.
for others that don't feel like they want to, they feel like they're being a pest, you're not, just keep it up. And many times they will come to, to reason and work with you.
That's right. And she's stuck with you that long. So obviously there was a relationship that was built. And she felt confident in working with you. So that's a good sign of the type of service that you're providing.
It is. It really is. And now she's giving me another property. So
Good.
Awesome.
Did you end up selling it? I didn't hear that. Did you sell it, Patty, or did you get it?
Yeah, for $1.065 million.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. So that's just persistence. And believe me, many times I wanted to kick her to the curb because she's not easy. And she, would not, she was not realistic. But
yeah, I think that's when
kept going back to her and back to her. And finally she said, you're right. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, that's
a great job.
That's when you go into your car and you meditate a little bit after you have that conversation.
For sure.
Get centered and
if you just keep telling yourself, I'm going to deal with my seller, my client one more day, but you just keep telling yourself that every day. So that you just stay with it. It's just one of those things. Yeah. Persistence. Exactly. Just staying with it.
Good job. All right. Any more questions? Anyone else? Everybody was excited for the 2023 year. Say it again, Patty.
Good meeting. Very informative.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Patty.
All right, guys. Well, it's almost lunchtime. So I hope everybody had a nice time on this first out the gate meeting. And I appreciate it, Craig, for getting here so early to jump on there and hammer this out. And
thank you.
We're going to be, you'll be seeing us around. Okay. Good luck, everybody. We'll be talking.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.